J.J.Simmons. I thank you so much for watching the TV broadcast, Thou Shall Prosper. I'm excited today. We're here at the Rolls Royce location out here in the Galleria, and I got the man of God himself. Introduce yourself.
Hey people, Jarrod Wilkins. Just excited to be here, man. Good to finally do this, man. And I know for a fact we'll add some value to the people that are watching all over the world. It's amazing how video now is able to travel and have an idea move around the world, and so many times people are using it for different reasons, some good, some not so good. And I think this platform that you've put together is a great one to really inspire and instill principles that people can apply in any area of their life and really win and prosper. So I'm glad to be on here.
You know, it's crazy that you said it. I promise you, I remember years ago, maybe like 3 years ago, before the Facebook and all that, really like people begin to really understand the true value of it. One day God told me something that blew my mind. He said every ministry and every business is global. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And through the internet.
Yeah.
You know, for example, the other day the BET Awards, I was explaining to my wife Keisha Cole, said, you know, I'm independent now.
Sure.
You know, but because of the internet, there's nothing really wrong with being independent, because, you know, you don't really need, I mean, you can use it as a value to your company to have distribution, but people not printing CDs like that no more. When you have iTunes, you can just download it. You know, Beyonce came out with an album on iTunes and it, you know, did this in like a few seconds. Anyway, tell the people what you have going on, my bro. Tell us the depth behind Jarrod Wilkins and what you have going on around the country.
Well, a lot of times people hear or see the glory, but they don't really know the story.
Amen.
And the story for me is like many people, man. I was born here in the U.S. My mother is from Nigeria, and my dad's from Alabama. They met here in Houston, attended law school together, and they've been practicing law for the last 30 years separately. And my mother, when she was going to complete the bar, she failed the first couple of times.
Okay. And
I tell people success is nothing but 2 steps backwards and 1 step forward. And so you've got to fail your way to success. But anyway, she took me to Nigeria when I was 5 years old. We were going to bury her father, as it were. And so we got there, and her mother, which is my grandmother, convinced her that, hey, listen, if you keep this up and having to pass the bar and pursue your career with this 5-year-old hanging on to you, you're not going to be able to make it. And so I'll never forget, man. I remember like it was yesterday. She gave me a kiss that morning, and she said, "I'll see you later."
She left you there.
Left me there.
Wow. Amen.
Didn't see her for 6 years. Her or my father. And I often tell when I share in platforms and situations like this, it's amazing how God orchestrates our life. The good book says, in all thy getting, get an understanding. And your understanding has everything to do with whom it is you stand under. And so back then at 5, I didn't understand. All I understood was I'm in a foreign territory, having to learn new language, new customs, new more ways and new fork ways, with indigenous people. And people that I had no familiarity with, because I was raised in the United States of America. But it taught me a couple of things. Number one, it taught me adaptability. It taught me sociability. And more important than all of that, it taught me how to go within. I often tell people, you can't go without if you don't go within. Everything starts within. And so I had to learn new customs, new traits, new everything, new language. Because I was an oddball out. They would look at me and say, "Oh man,
you was the American, even though you was from there."
There you go. Because I had the accent. And oftentimes what we do is we judge people by what they look like, not by who they really are. That's why they say don't judge a book by its cover. And so I was there, and I started to adapt. My diction changed because Nigeria was once a colony of Great Britain. And so in Nigeria, they don't speak American English. In America, we shorten everything. It's y'all, ain't, can't. They don't speak like that. It's cannot, will not. You should, not y'all.
You had to adapt to it.
Had to adapt to it. And so I did all of that, and they used to make fun of me because I was the oddball out. I sounded different. I spoke different. And so I learned their culture. I learned my original culture. And I tell people this too, man, that culture is not in places. It's in people.
Right.
Because wherever the person shows up, the culture shows up. That's why you can go to any major city in the country, you will always find a Chinatown. Right. China halfway across the world. Right. How did it appear in Houston? It's in the people. It's in the people. When the people come from China, they bring their what? Culture. So I learned culture, and I learned a sense of assuredness. And so when I got back to the United States in 1994, I came with a different attitude. I tell people your attitude determines your altitude.
So you was what, 11?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And so now I had to adjust and adapt again. Because in Nigeria, I had no mother, I had no father. There was no running water. There's no electricity. All of the things that we take for granted in the United States, they don't have that in many third world countries.
Right, right.
And so when I got back here, it was an adjustment. It was what they call culture shock. And now I have to meet my mom. Haven't called her mother in 6 years. Hadn't seen her. There was no internet the way it is today, so we weren't, seeing each other. No Skype, none of that. And so there were handwritten letters only that I didn't read until I got to the U.S. because my grandma didn't want to hurt my heart, so she hid all the letters that was written for the last 6 years. So I didn't know. And so when I got back, my mother was married, my father was married, so they essentially started families without me. And so the story, you got to understand the psyche that you have from 5 to 12. These are what they call your formative years. And so my story now was built on one that had a premise to say, you abandoned me. You rejected
Especially
me.
as a child.
As a child.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, adults are nothing but children that know how to behave in public. So we're walking around as hurt kids from stuff that we've dealt with at 5, at 8, at 10, and you wonder, why is he so crazy? Why is she? Because they're perpetuating who they are and what's experienced or what life experience they've been through since we were 5, 6, 7 years old. So I get back to the U.S. and I came now with 2 emotions. I call them mixed emotions. I came with a sense of hunger because I never wanted to be broke again because I experienced it. And I tell people now in America that this is the greatest country in the world.
Yes, it is.
People come from all over the world to America because it is the land of opportunity. It is the only country in the world that has the word dream attached to the country. There's no Nigerian dream, there's no Japan dream, there's no Chinese dream, there's only the American dream. Because you can come from anywhere in the world and people do it all the time. I mean, how many stories do we need to hear? People put themselves in boxes, they put themselves in planes, they jump fences. I mean, they do all types of stuff to get here because they know if I can get here, everything can change. So for me, that was what I was coming with in terms of mentality. So one emotion was that of hunger, desire, burning desire to succeed, to achieve, not just to have money, but to win. And so I came with hunger, but also came with something else.
What was that?
Anger.
Right.
So you've got 2 diametrically opposed forces in terms of emotions that were pulling on me. And so it's always easy to win, but it's also easy to burn out.
Okay.
So you win, but you really lose. Because now you have the money, but you're still not fulfilled.
Right.
Now you have the platforms. Now you have the people. Now you have the recognition. Now you have all of these things, but you're still empty.
So where did the anger come from?
Anger came from abandonment, resentment. These are emotions that we get addicted to. Hate, anger, jealousy, envy, resentment, bitterness. These are all emotions that trigger us. And they can really hinder us from accomplishing the God-given purpose we're supposed to accomplish.
So what happened? How did you overcome that?
So what happened was I got those things. The money was great. And it still is. I don't ever plan on giving it back. But got the money, got some notoriety, got a lot of the trappings of success. And I often tell people the trappings of success are good as long as you don't get trapped by the success. But what happened was I was introduced to a mentor. And he really helped me see things.
Okay, what age was this?
This was, I was age 28.
Okay.
My original mentor, I met him when I was 21.
Okay.
When I met that mentor, and I tell people, a mentor and a coach are 2 different things.
Okay.
A coach is someone who gives you how-to training, how to tie a tie, how to start a business, how to do good in your relationships, or how to fix something. They give you the nuts and bolts of a thing. A mentor is someone that is willing to pour their life's philosophy into you. So mentorship is a lifelong process. So you start to now think like the mentor. And oftentimes people think, oh, I can go just choose a mentor. No, the mentor chooses the mentee. Right. The mentee never chooses the mentor. And when I say mentor, I'm talking about a physical person that is willing to take you under their wing and pour into you. So I met my first one at age 21 years old. And he had the success, personally and privately. Because I see a lot of people these days, they may have public success, but they're private failures. So they're on their fourth marriage, they drink a lot, they smoke a lot, they have no relationships really with their children, but they're paraded publicly as some success. And I never wanted that. And so he was the one that kind of really guided me in the very beginning.
You're talking about the first one or the second one?
My first one.
Okay.
He guided me in the beginning to really have a holistic approach to success. Even though I still had the triggers from my past, from when I was 5, I still now saw somebody that I said, you know what, I can model, I can emulate, and I can really achieve what he's achieved. But what transitioned for me is I realized that imitation, they say, is the best form of flattery, but really imitation is limitation. Because you can only be the best second class of somebody else. So I had to now start to learn myself, because my biggest strength was adaptability. I can change, I can become a chameleon. Or chameleon, rapper. But anyway, I could change and adapt, but what happened was I lost the essence of who.
You didn't know your purpose.
Yeah,
your original intent.
I didn't know it. I had no clue of what it was. I knew what purpose was, but I didn't know what my purpose was. Does this make sense?
It makes perfect
sense.
sense.
And so this is the biggest challenge that I see in the world today.
Right.
Is the original intent. Why are you here? That is 7.5 billion people on planet Earth. This is the question they are all asking.
Right.
Why am I here? Because once you get all of the trappings and all of this type of stuff, it still doesn't fulfill you.
Right.
Because only purpose. I tell people this, there's a special place in every human being's heart that only purpose fulfills. No amount of money, sex, drugs, alcohol, fame, or fortune can fill that void, because God set you here for his purpose, not for your plans.
Correct. So let me ask you this. So how did the mentor help you dig within yourself to discover this purpose on your life?
He had what I was looking for.
Okay.
He had a situation in life where he was fulfilling his purpose. So he had all of the things, and there's nothing wrong with things.
Right.
The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added. But the priority, Jesus was saying, was kingdom. Right. I had no concept of what kingdom was. I knew what religion was. I knew what Christianity was. I knew what Islam was. I knew what Buddhism was. I knew what the religions were, but I didn't know what kingdom was. And so my awakening moment, my essential Damascus road was meeting somebody. I tell people all the time, you're one person away from poverty or prosperity.
Correct.
One person entering into your life changes your entire system.
So it was the mentor.
It was the mentor.
Okay, tell me what happened in detail.
What ended up happening was I had listened to this gentleman, Dr. Miles Monroe. I listened to him for years. I had heard many of his speeches and many of his seminars, and was impacted by some of the stuff that he talked about. But I encountered him, and an encounter is an unplanned experience. I had no plan for it. I went to a seminar that he did in Houston to go sit and listen to this man, because they talked about how great he was and things they had accomplished, and I didn't realize the magnitude, the weight that he had accomplished. I didn't understand the impact and the influence globally that he had. And so I'm sitting there. Now at the time, I'm already a multi-millionaire. I've done extremely well. And so it was easy for me to judge an outward appearance. He had balding spots. He used to wear old, not old suits, but his pocket square was not what it's supposed to look. I'm telling you, very superficial things. Right. And many people, you can miss the message because of the messenger.
Correct.
And so for years I didn't miss the message, but I missed the content because of the container. And so what ended up happening, I'm sitting there, I'm listening to him, and he started to explain things. He started to teach things that really resonated. And it was almost like he was filling the holes in my faith that I was missing. And I'm sitting there like, where has this all been?
Okay, let me ask you this question. Let me cut you off right quick. So are you talking about the same encounter of the video that we're going to show in this clip?
Yes.
So wait, hold up. So before then, you had all kind of stuff going on before then?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me it wasn't until that day that you discovered the purpose?
Went to that day.
Are you serious?
Yes. It was an encounter.
Wow. Listen, we're going to cut this video right quick. We'll be right back. I want you to watch this video right quick.
I'm going to give you what's on me. Just like a cloak is going to come over you. You shall preach the kingdom without compromise.